Get ready to break molds and blaze trails. Welcome to the Chelsey Holm podcast, your shortcuts to wellness, business, and growth with a twist. Let's flip the script and unlock your full potential together.
Hey, I am going audio only. If you're listening to the podcast, it's always audio only for you. But I also record the video with it. I mean, the whole thing's video, and then I just pull the audio for the podcast. Not that you care about any of this, but I love podcasting, and it's one of those things that, I mean, it's like writing for me, journaling, putting my thoughts to paper. Or creating, like it's just that creative aspect of it. And I needed an easier way. Like I am rarely sitting at my desk these days. You caught my last episode, Zach and I are going to be apart for a year, so I'm solo parenting. And we're getting ready for school to start, as is everyone else, but that means, sports are back in session. And it's so funny, I was talking to a friend today, and it's not necessarily, like, we're not crazy, like, sports people. Like, I know some people are, like, that's not our thing. Sports is not most important, but we do understand and believe, and also we're part of it ourselves when we were kids, in the value of organized sports and being on a team, working with others, learning how to be coached, right? How to take constructive feedback and criticism and to use it to get better and grow, right? Like, hello, I'm a coach. That's exactly what I do for others. Anyway, just that, all that to say though, we have 5 kids, so Bo's not in anything yet. But the thing is, everyone else is in one thing. And so even though there's no like 3 sports per person, like, or even last year when we had Holly in 2 different, we had her in club cheer and middle school cheer, because we just didn't know what we didn't know. And last year I felt like my hair was on fire because I didn't know what to expect. And then I was totally overwhelmed by everything it entailed and like the intensity of the schedules and all of that stuff. Anyways, this year going into club football and cheer, I know a lot more. And Holly is only doing middle school cheer. And so it's much more manageable this year. And I'm also more emotionally healthy. And I understand the signs of creeping up overwhelm, and the importance of managing my stress and working through that. So there are days when, as I shared last episode, sometimes it's a challenge, right? Because when we're trying to be healthy, all the things. I'm not going to repeat everything I talked about last time. But here's the thing, like, talking with my friend who we were talking about growth, because she and I are very much alike. We're very much like intentionally taking daily action to grow. And it's come with a lot of like hard things that, we had to be broken of, and, so it was painful. And the process of growth is painful because, you're essentially taking former beliefs and identities and saying, those don't serve me anymore in the way that I'm going. And you're changing them, right? You're rewriting those stories so that you can grow. Because if you continue the same stories, you can't grow. Like, growth and non-serving old beliefs cannot cohabitate. They just can't. Because it's like that thermostat where, you can't crank it up for long until that thermostat wants to go back down to its normal setting, right? Unless you also simultaneously increase the belief and you embrace getting uncomfortable. And one of my favorite things to pray is just like Isaiah and David, a mixture of the two. David was like, search me and know me, right? And then Isaiah is like, I'm here, Lord, send me. And, after I read Dangerous Prayers by Craig Rochelle, well, I took big faith had big faith and decided to take my 3 kids on a mission trip. Go back and catch the Unpacking Guatemala if you haven't listened to that. So many ahas through that. But, the process of growth is not easy, right? Like, it is hard, but the opposite of hard is staying stuck where you are and just continuing to complain about the same things, but not taking any action to change it, right? And so this episode is just about the fact that, like, you're an adult, I'm an adult. If there's something you don't like or you want to change, you can decide to take the first step in the direction of changing it, right? Like, we tend as Americans to get so wrapped up in our busy schedules and working all the time. And now I'm someone who loves to work because I love what I do, but I work with a different mission than just clocking in, right? Like, it's different for me because I also worked 9 to 5s and it did not align with my mission. And I was able to still, work as worship in it, and give glory to God and do my best and always leave things better than I found it and, do everything for the glory of God. But, like, it wasn't the same as it is now. But, honestly, I think the definition of insanity is the person who continuously lives in this loop of complaint without any action that's different to change it, right? And we're adults. Like, we can literally decide, I'm going to put my house on the market tomorrow. I am going to apply for new jobs. I am going to start downsizing everything so that I have more freedom and flexibility in the decisions that I want to make. Like, we can do that at any time, and yet we tend to get so fixed, right? We get stuck being stuck. And I don't know why I'm putting so much emphasis on this stuck. But we do, right? Like, we get comfortable with our discomfort and we love to complain about it. I mean, in any group of moms, what is the first thing everyone can relatably complain about? Kids and spouses. And it takes intentional, like, action to not go along with that flow, right? Because it's socially acceptable, but it's not spiritually, emotionally, physically, socially, any of the alleys beneficial, right, for growth. And so, like, I just challenge you right now to think about, like, what is it about your life that you don't like? And what would an ideal day look like for you? And can you step back further and look even bigger picture than just, in your environment? Like, I told Zach, I said, after we got back from Guatemala, I was like, I know that people go on mission trips and they come back and they're like, everything needs to change. And then nothing changes, right? But I think going on this trip, I've been on other missions trips, it really changed my perspective on, like, what we're doing in this world and, just being sensitive continually to God's calling on us. And I think it really lit off a spark inside of me that wants to create and craft my life in a way that continually gives me more freedom and flexibility and decision-making power, right? And so I told Zach, I was like, I would love to sell everything and for, like, 6 months of the year, go do mission work wherever God calls us and sends us, whether that's here or outside the States. And then 6 months of the year, I would like to, I don't even know what that would look like yet. Like, I just think that it could be so much more. And this is not coming from a place of ungratefulness. Like, I am so grateful. I realize that, like, my husband goes to work every day, well, school every day now for military, and I get to stay home full time with our kids. And, and it's not like this, I don't know, it's a strange thing to work from a place of gratitude and yet still want more and be open to the possibility of what more or different or a radical shakeup could look like. Because, it was through my wilderness that, God really broke me down and shook me and remade me. And, my environment didn't necessarily change, but my heart did. And I think through that process, it gave me a peek to and a reminder into the brevity of life. And we really should be living life to the fullest for God's glory, not our own, right? But for those who love, it's in the Bible that Jesus gives us life and life to the full. And like, I saw Kristen Boss had I think it was a post on Instagram today. She was like, I want to stand before God at the end, and I want to have used the heck out of the talents he's given me and multiplied them as much as I possibly can for his glory. Like, that's what that totally resonated with me. And I was like, that's what I want to do too. And so this is a shorter episode, but this is to light that fire under your butt, to step back, take a bigger look at your life, and where do you need to shake things a little bit, or a lot, and just know you can, stop being stuck in your stuckness. You can literally decide as an adult to change something and take action to do it. But you've got to first believe it's possible for you. You've got to be willing to craft some self-awareness, foster some self-awareness in you of your stories that are cropping up and holding you back and blocking the actions that you're taking. And then also, you need to just have this willingness to look hard at yourself and look hard at the data and look at where you're comfortable. I shared a question, I guess, on my Facebook the other day, and I think and Instagram, but it was just like, what is it about your life that is keeping, or what is so comfortable that your commitment is lacking? What is it that's so comfortable that your commitment is not there? Right? Because we move away from pain or towards something that we want, and pain is a powerful catalyst, right, for change. But then when we get to a place where we are once again comfortable because maybe the desire is not there or there's just not enough pain, we tend to sit in that stuckness and not have these honest looks at ourselves. And then we're just okay being okay, right? We're just ho-humming it and moving along with the river of life instead of sticking our paddle in the water and saying, wow, I should probably look around. Maybe I'm not going in a direction that I want to, and maybe God's calling me in a different direction, and maybe the water's not that deep as I thought, and I just need to stand up right now and walk to the shore and, go forge a new path. You know what I mean? We can do that. And so this episode is just to challenge you, as I've been challenged, to really look at where I'm so comfortable that I'm just I'm not committed. Because when it comes to what you believe is possible, your dreams, all of that, you have to be insanely committed. It's going to make other people uncomfortable. And for years, I toned myself down because I didn't want to make other people uncomfortable. But guess what? Nobody grows in that situation. And I'm sorry if my growth makes other people uncomfortable. It's going to. And maybe that's exactly what other people need, is it's not a comparison game, but it's a self-check of man, where could I totally dial this in and really change things, change the trajectory of my life? And you know that just slight changes, I mean, massive changes obviously change the trajectory, but slight changes can actually change the ending point by so much. And so, what are you going to do? Like, when's the last time you had a hard, good, detailed look at yourself in the mirror and saw yourself and where you are and celebrated how far you've come, but also got fired up about what's possible ahead of you moving forward and actually lit that fire in whatever way that you need to move in that direction. I hope this challenged you just as much as it's been challenging me. Take care, guys.
Thanks for joining the Chelsey Holm podcast journey. If you've enjoyed challenging the norm and embracing growth with a twist, share the love. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, keep defying expectations and keep leaning into who God made you to be.